Does planning a road trip in Queensland sound like a dream? With the beaches, Great Barrier Reef, waterfalls, and the red dirt in the outback, it could certainly be that way. But if you want to avoid wasting money, utilise your time more effectively, and not get stuck in the middle of nowhere, then this video is for you. After more than 30 years road tripping Queensland, we've made costly mistakes, missed hidden gems and underestimated distances. So today's video will detail my best tips and everything I wish someone told me before planning a road trip around Queensland. Fuel costs are a significant factor to consider when planning a road trip in Queensland. The state's vastness and remote areas means that fuel prices can vary dramatically, often being higher in less populated regions. I've seen prices range from $1.60 to $2 per litre for a standard vehicle, and we've paid up to $2.50 a litre for the four-wheel drive. This is increased in the outback areas as much as $3 due to logistical challenges and increased transportation costs. For travellers, this means budgeting for fuel expenses is crucial, especially if your journey takes you through the outback or regional areas that are far from major cities. Know that phone apps like Fuel Map and Petrol Spy can help you plan in advance on all locations and show you which service station is the cheapest before you even get there. You can also save the shopper dockets from grocery stores to get you 4 cents a litre off on your fuel purchase. If you're hiring a car, fuel efficiency becomes an important consideration. Choosing a vehicle suited to your needs against the one offering better mileage can help mitigate some of the costs. Prices in small towns can be higher than larger cities. This compares larger supermarket chains against local independent or convenience stores. Small local grocery stores often rely on limited suppliers, have increased operating costs and smaller purchase power. Foodworks, spa, IGAs and independent stores will suffice for essentials and some luxury items, but you will pay a higher cost for them. While they may offer convenience, this price difference can quickly add up, especially for road trippers in Queensland spending extended periods in remote areas. Therefore, I highly recommend stocking up on essential and non-perishable items in major cities at places like Coles and Woolworths, where prices are generally lower. Start with planning a detailed shopping list with the essentials, including snacks, canned goods, beverages, and other staples to purchase in advance. Free and cheap campsites are everywhere in Australia, so opting for camping while road tripping in Queensland can cut down on accommodation costs, which can be a major expense otherwise. Apps like Wikicamp and Campermate can help you round down your options for sites as well as facilities and locations. However, it is essential to weigh up these savings against the initial investment in the camping gear, since purchasing or renting quality equipment such as tents, sleeping bags, cooking supplies, and even the camper van, it can all add up in your upfront costs. One downside to relying on free campsites is their popularity. They can often be fully booked, especially during peak travel seasons. So it's always good to have a backup plan or extra cash for a caravan park, especially since you can be fined for camping where it's not allowed. Not all free campsites in Queensland offer ample facilities such as showers or toilets, which can be a major consideration for travellers. While the cost savings are attractive, the absence of basic amenities like drinking water, shower and a toilet may pose challenges, especially for longer stays. While I think Queensland is ideally safe for travelling, some free campsites might not be the safest option. You might find the lack of security measures can leave campers vulnerable to theft and even wildlife encounters, which is not really the best option for a solo traveller on their first time in Australia. Ultimately, while free campsites can be a great way to save money, it's crucial to weigh up the pros and the cons. Ensure you have adequate camping gear and supplies to compensate for the lack of facilities, and prioritise your safety over cost. When planning a beach driving adventure in Queensland, it's important to know that permits are required to access certain beaches, particularly those within national parks. If you own a four-wheel drive, you can book most of these permits through the Queensland National Parks website. Just know that permits for driving on the beach are different from the camping permits, and if you're staying overnight, you will need both. These permits are normally issued for a specific time period, ensuring the sustainable and organised use without overcrowding. The process is straightforward online with a weekly, monthly or yearly visits, and you'll need to specify the dates it's starting. I advise to book your permits in advance, but generally we only do this about a week or a few days out. However, if you're camping, this might need to be planned a lot earlier. Cooking your own meals is a practical way to maintain your budget while travelling. Even your standard takeaway fast food can be surprisingly expensive, often costing between $15 to $30 per person. By limiting visits to local foodie spots and opting to eat out only for special occasions or unique flavours, you can save a significant amount of money. Considering stocking up on essentials like rice, pasta, canned goods and fresh vegetables at local supermarkets like Coles and Woolworths I mentioned before. These ingredients can be transformed into delicious meals with minimal effort. If you're camping, portable stoves and grills can make cooking easy, as well as meal planning and bulk cooking can reduce costs. Same goes for booking simple motels that come with a microwave. However, don't miss out on the local delicacies and plan for a once-a-week treat night to indulge your taste buds. Know that Queensland is a year-round holiday destination. Summertime from December to February brings the overseas tourists, while the winter from June to August is flooded with Aussies from the southern states. Trying to avoid peak season travel is a wise decision, but you especially have to work around the school and public holidays for several reasons. The demand for accommodation, activities, and dining options skyrockets. This surge leads to inflated prices that can quickly deplete your travel budget. Furthermore, the influx of travellers result in the increased traffic on the roads, which in turn heightens the likelihood of accidents and road delays. Since the holiday dates change every year, you can look them up online to plan around it. However, if you can't avoid it, at least you have your expectations in check and can accommodate them. While the Great Barrier Reef outer pontoon tours are often advertised as the ultimate experience, they can be quite costly and at times I find not worth the hefty price tag. These tours usually involve extensive travel, and you won't often find the best coral there. And this enjoyment is seriously diminished when you have bad weather conditions. I have a blog post which goes into more detail on this linked below, but an alternative that suits both budget and convenience is to explore the inner reef areas. Not only are they cheaper and take less time to get there, they still offer a lot of marine life and coral formations that rival those in the outer reef. These include sites like Green Island, Fitzroy Island and the Low Isles, along with the southern areas like Lady Musgrave Island. All of them provide accessible snorkeling and diving experiences to help tick off the Aussie bucket list adventure. When planning activities like snorkeling or diving during your travels, hiring gear can quickly become an expensive endeavour. The cost of renting equipment accumulates over time, impacting your travel budget. To mitigate these expenses, you have two options: either purchase your own equipment or select tours that include gear in their package cost. Investing in your own gear can be a cost-effective solution, especially if you anticipate engaging in these activities regularly. However, for me, it comes down to comfort and having it tried and tested beforehand. While most of the Great Barrier Reef tours will include gear, wearing a mask that's been used a gazillion times over the years will not be fitted to the shape of your face and often floods as soon as you put your head under the water. This will affect your experience and joy in the activity. Once again, you need to weigh up your options, as carrying the extra gear for the entire trip might not be ideal either. When driving through southeast Queensland, it is essential to factor in road tolls, especially in areas around Brisbane. This includes the Gateway Motorway, Logan Motorway, Clem Jones Tunnel, Go-Between Bridge, Legacy Way, Airport Link and the Toowoomba Bypass. These tolls must be paid through the linked website within 3 days of travel. This is triggered by a photograph of your vehicle's number plate and the name listed against the registration. If you're renting a vehicle, then the tolls are generally covered in the contract, with fees deducted from your credit card after notices are sent to the car hire shop. Failure to pay them can result in hefty fines, extra administration costs, and if gone too long, license suspension or seizing your vehicle. If you're planning on a longer stay, then setting up an account and using a car device or tag to deduct the fees automatically will be better in the long term. Queensland is massive, covering an area of approximately 1.8 million square kilometres or over 700,000 square miles. This makes it the second largest state in Australia. For instance, driving from Brisbane in the south to Cairns in the north along the coastal route covers a distance of about 1,700 kilometres or just over 1,000 miles. This road trip alone can take you about 20 hours of continuous driving. On top of that, you can feel isolated in the outback and sometimes without seeing another traveller for hours. The vastness of the state also means that road conditions can vary, and it's wise to check for any road closures, especially during the wet season when floods can disrupt travel plans. While a four-wheel drive vehicle isn't always necessary for travelling in Queensland, it can be indispensable for certain regions and activities. Know that most of the coastal roads are sealed. These routes are suitable for a standard two-wheel drive vehicle, allowing for easy access to popular coastal destinations. However, when venturing into the outback or remote areas, the terrain and road conditions can vary significantly. Roads can narrow to a single lane, two-way traffic, and become corrugated or dirt tracks, making the driving more challenging. Also, if you're planning to visit national parks or islands, a four-wheel drive is crucial due to the rough and sandy tracks. However, popular ones might have organised tours to take care of the vehicle for you. Travelling through Queensland outback roads demands caution and preparation, as these routes can be met with unexpected challenges. The terrain offered includes potholes, dirt tracks, and wandering wildlife, making driving risky, especially during dusk and dawn. Staying alert is crucial, and frequent stops to rest or swapping drivers can help with fatigue and enhance safety. Ensure your vehicle is well maintained and equipped for the rugged roads, carrying essential supplies including extra fuel, water and a spare tyre, as petrol stations can be hours apart and basic services may be scarce in remote areas. In the end, I find it always best to allow some extra time for travel and unexpected delays. Driving at dusk and dawn anywhere in Australia can pose certain risks. This is due to the presence of kangaroos, emus, wombats, echidnas, and even cassowaries on the roads. During these times, animals are more active, often crossing the roads in search of food or warmth from the asphalt, which retains heat during the day. The reduced visibility during twilight hours heightens the danger, making it difficult to spot animals until it's too late to avoid them. Kangaroos are particularly annoying. Even when they do see you, they will try to avoid you by jumping from one side of the road to the other, and remembering that 90% of the time they travel in pairs or groups, so even if you miss one, his friend could jump out unexpectedly to surprise you, which can lead to sudden collisions. Large animals can cause substantial vehicle damage and potential injury. I recommend planning your journey to avoid driving at these times. However, if it's unavoidable, please reduce the speed to help spot and react quicker. Service or petrol stations are literally everywhere along the coastal areas, and you'll pass one at least every hour. With this comes plenty of choices, different costs, and you can even be a little flexible with how low your tank gets. However, given the large distances between petrol stations in Queensland's outback, it is crucial to never let your tank get below half full. Petrol stations can be hours apart, out of fuel or not even open. We've even rocked up to an unmanned petrol bowser with a broken credit card machine, so we're unable to get fuel. The fuel app mentioned before can help you plan, but we tend to get fuel in almost every town. But we'll also weigh this up against the town size and how many fuel station options they have available. Running out of fuel could leave you stranded in an isolated region, and help will be hours away. You also need to be ready for unexpected travel delays, road closures, or extra long detours that use more fuel. You could also carry an extra jerry can supply of fuel to back that up. Car rentals are generally cheaper in the major cities like Brisbane or Cairns, which serves as international gateways to the rest of the state. They offer a variety of rental brands like Avis, Budget and Eurocar at competitive prices, plus size choices from small cars to campervans or moving homes. However, be wary of the excess cost associated with one-way travel if you plan to return the vehicle to a different location. Also, read the fine print on the number of kilometres it's included per day and if the roads you're driving on are allowed. While planning your stop and activities, weigh up the options between flying and driving. Flying can save time and energy, especially for long-distance travels, but it may limit your ability to explore remote regions and spontaneous stops. On the other hand, driving allows for greater flexibility and the opportunity to experience the hidden gems where organised tours don't go. Plus, a standard car rental combined with strategically planned stops and accommodations may offer a more economical and flexible solution. So are campervans worth it? While they offer the convenience of combining transportation and accommodation, they come with several drawbacks. Their high fuel consumption can increase travel costs, especially when covering long distances in Queensland. Furthermore, the size of the campervans may restrict access to certain areas, limiting your ability to park close to attractions or in crowded urban settings. Another challenge is the need for advanced bookings. Popular sites will fill up quickly, especially during peak seasons. Therefore, you may struggle to find a suitable spot, have to drive further for the next site, or pay for a more expensive park. Not to mention leading to stress and potential changes in your travel plans. Roadside Assistance is a crucial service that can make the difference between a minor inconvenience and a major ordeal, especially in remote areas. We use RSCQ, but you have other options with NRMA, Budget Direct, UE or Allianz. In remote regions, a breakdown can be particularly costly due to the distance and difficulty in accessing service repairs. Roadside Assistance offers a service that can not only save you money, but also precious time, reducing the stress and uncertainty associated with vehicle issues. This includes towing to a mechanic, battery jump starts, tyre changes, emergency fuel delivery, ensuring that you can get back on the road quickly and safely. Checking road conditions is essential as it allows travellers to avoid areas affected and ensures safer travel routes. Please use the local news, online resources, and even associated Queensland Facebook groups for up-to-date information on road closures. Take particular attention to the wet season, which typically spans from November to April. This can bring heavy rains, lightning storms, cyclone, and flooding, especially in North Queensland. Trees fall onto roads and floods can lead to landslips, all resulting in road closures and disrupting your travel plans. Planning a trip during this time can be problematic, and know that tours are often cancelled due to winds and unpredictable weather. For this reason, you might want to prepare some indoor games or activities, especially for the kids. While free camping offers an economical way to explore the great outdoors, it often comes with its limited amenities mentioned before, including the absence of showers. One practical solution is to utilise public rest stops along major highways and roads. Many rest stops are equipped with basic facilities, including toilets and occasionally showers. However, public pools can also be a lifesaver. Numerous towns and cities will have community pools that welcome visitors for a small fee. Not only do these pools offer a chance to swim and cool down, but they always have shower facilities available to use. If all else fails, you might consider a portable shower solution such as a solar shower, or we have a USB chargeable shower that's used with boiled water. Caravan parks, while offering a safer and more secure option for camping, can indeed be expensive. They often charge anything from $30 to $100 a night, which can add up quickly, especially for an extended trip. These parks typically provide a range of amenities such as power, water, and waste disposal, making them a comfortable choice for travellers. The convenience and security they offer can make the higher cost worth it, but for the budget-conscious travellers, balancing the use of caravan parks with other cheaper alternatives like national park campsites or free camping areas can help manage costs. So I would recommend using them every few nights or at least once a week for a decent shower to wash your clothes and fill up your water tanks. Queensland National Parks offer affordable alternative for travellers seeking to immerse themselves in the nature without breaking the bank. These campsites are currently $7.25 per adult per night or $29 for a family, which can be booked on the website online. However, it's essential to note that national parks often come with certain limitations. Many of these sites are quite basic, lacking amenities such as power and running water, plus some have a mandatory requirement for a portaloo or toilet. This means campers need to be self-sufficient, bringing their own water supplies, and access could require a four-wheel drive vehicle, especially in areas with rough terrain or less than ideal weather conditions. Despite these challenges, national park campsites offer a unique and rewarding experience. While backpacker hostels may initially appear to be an economical choice, they often lack the security and privacy that travellers crave or hidden costs. You can't leave expensive gear unattended. There might be sleepless nights with noisy socialising or snoring. And at one hostel, I've even had to hire the sheets and blankets. I've stayed at plenty of hostels over the years, but since I'm not in my 20s anymore, it's not really my scene. However, the social aspect is amazing if you're looking to find friends or meet like-minded people. As an alternative, cabins in caravan parks can offer fixed accommodation, demountable buildings, or tiny homes with basic amenities that ensure your comfort without breaking the bank. Additionally, motels can serve as reliable low-cost accommodation, particularly for short stays. I've often picked either of them up for about $80 to $120 a night, and even better when you're sharing the cost with a friend or partner. Unlike hostels, motels and cabin rentals typically do not have hidden fees and require minimal cleaning before departure. When budgets are tight, staying in Brisbane can seem daunting due to the high accommodation costs. However, there are alternative strategies to explore urban areas without overspending. I'll link a blog in the different Brisbane areas in the description to help you choose, but you can opt for accommodation in the city outskirts. This includes taking advantage of the public transport and the current cheap 50-cent one-way fares. Using buses, ferries, trains, or trams, travellers can conveniently commute to Brisbane CBD or even the Gold and Sunshine Coast to explore landmarks, museums, vibrant neighbourhoods without the hefty price tag of central accommodations. Another approach is to find reasonably priced hotels within the city. This requires a little bit more research and planning, but in many cases I've found budget hotels for $150 a night with decent amenities. Look out for discount websites, and Genius membership on Booking.com can often provide deals and promotions, which can include a decent breakfast too. Additionally, considering off-peak travel times and checking for last-minute offers can further reduce your costs. I'm always the first person to get eaten alive when it comes to mozzies. So packing insect repellent is a crucial aspect of preparing for any Queensland adventure. However, this is particularly the case at dusk or dawn when mosquitoes, midges, and sandflies are most active. But I've also seen it change with yearly seasons or if stagnant water is around. Their bites cause itching, irritation, and in some cases allergic reactions, which can detract from your enjoyment of the surroundings. Opting for repellents containing DEET or essential oils like citronella and eucalyptus can often provide effective protection, but wearing long sleeves and pants can also help. North Queensland is renowned for its saltwater crocodiles, particularly from Rockhampton northwards. This region is teeming with these predators, making it imperative to take necessary precautions when camping near or swimming in the water. Avoid searching for isolated water sources, as these areas are often prime crocodile habitats.
Obviously there's no swimming because there could be crocs.
Swimming alone or during nighttime is highly discouraged, and always consult with a lifeguard or local authorities to determine if it's a safe place to swim. While you might find free camping spots in various towns, it's important to be aware that many of these locations have limits on how long you can stay, typically ranging from 24 to 48 hours. These restrictions can help manage the availability of free camping resources and ensure that as many travellers as possible can benefit from them. This means you should always check the local regulations beforehand and comply with the posted limits to avoid fines. This way you can effectively map out your journey and avoid any surprises. Almost every town along the coast hosts a local market on the weekend, providing a valuable opportunity to purchase fresh produce directly from local growers. Here you'll find that fresh fruit and vegetables are often better quality and cheaper than those in larger supermarkets. This supports small-scale farmers and the local economy. Fruits and vegetables are typically harvested at peak ripeness, ensuring superior taste and nutritional value. Apart from that, you can pick up unique souvenirs to take home or other necessities like clothes, shoes, and flavoured additives for your food. When travelling, always carry water, whether that's in bottles or a refillable container. While you can find water in every town, it's not always drinkable and taps might be blocked from using it. Signs will generally display non-potable water, and this is only suitable for washing your hands or showering. Also, some outback regions are supplied with water from the Great Artesian Basin and contain a slight sulphur smell, which often needs boiling before you drink. Carrying your own supply ensures that you always have access to safe drinking water. This is essential for staying hydrated and avoiding bugs and gastro illnesses. Even when we're using motels or cheap fixed accommodation, we'll often bring a portable stove. These can be invaluable when it comes to a quick meal or reheating food when you don't have a microwave in your room. Not only that, their compact size and ease of use makes them ideal for roadside picnic spots. These areas often come equipped with toilets, tables, benches, and sometimes even shelters. Save your pennies and use it for a fresh cup of coffee or a planned meal break. With any road trip spanning more than a few days, ensuring that you have a supply of snacks is crucial. Unfortunately, roadhouse and service station food is overpriced and often lacks quality, with many items sitting in the hot box for hours and lacks nutritional value. Leave your snack buying for the supermarkets, not only to save money, but also to take advantage of the variety and healthy options. We tend to stick to dried fruits, nuts, jerky, and even canned drinks to keep us going between meals. When you're taking the Brisbane to Cairns route, I think you need a minimum of 10 to 14 days, and even that's going to be a fully packed schedule. While you can do it in a shorter time frame, I think it's too rushed, and you'll miss some incredible spots. I suggest planning shorter driving days with a max of 200 to 300 kilometres per day. This helps avoid road fatigue and scheduling the must-see locations. If it helps, I'll link a video in the description of all the stops I've made, so you can pick and choose an ideal itinerary for your group. As for the Outback, each of our 3 trips have been 2 weeks long and we still haven't seen it all. I find it better suited for the slow travellers and that have more time to sit back and take it all in. However, if you like that raw, untouched landscape, then it's worth planning to see some of the highlights. I'll link my Outback video below to help you choose from them too. I mentioned the 200 to 300 daily kilometre limit before, and there are a couple of reasons for this. Shorter driving days give you the opportunity to relax, stretch your legs, and reduce driver's fatigue or monotonous conditions. This can impair reaction times, reduce attention, and increase the likelihood of accidents. Therefore, a stop at a scenic location not only provides a mental and physical rest, but also enrich the overall travel experience. This strategy is particularly effective along the Brisbane to Cairns route, where there are hundreds of coastal stops. However, the Outback area might need a little more and take advantage of changing drivers. Just because something isn't on the main route, it doesn't mean it isn't worth it. You'll often find some of these places with less people and even more beautiful, especially if there's a hiking trail to get there. While travelling the Brisbane to Cairns route, almost every small town worth stopping at isn't located on the highway. Plus, if you're going to tick off any of the 1,700 beaches in Queensland, then you'll have to drive a little more. As for the Outback, small detours can take you to bright red sandhills, remnants of dinosaurs that once roamed the earth, and quaint hot springs for swimming. I'm constantly using Google Maps for travel times, but I also know you should allocate extra time for delays. This includes roadworks, bathroom stops, congested traffic, and getting stuck behind caravans are common. The A1 Bruce Highway between Brisbane and Cairns is one of the busiest roads in Australia. With that comes the constant need for improvements, changes and repairs. In the 30 years I've been travelling this road, I don't think there's ever been a time that I haven't been stopped for some reason. As for the Outback, dirt and corrugated roads make it hard to calculate the speed you'll be driving. In the end, use Google Maps as an estimation and allow extra time to your itinerary planning. Everyone thinks summertime is the best time to travel to Queensland. While that might be the case for some people, others might not handle the hot and humid weather. During the summer, average temperatures in North Queensland typically range from 25 to 33 degrees Celsius. However, the high humidity can make it feel even hotter. The air becomes thick and sticky, makes it uncomfortable to be outside for extended periods. On the plus side, it does make the waterfall swimming better and actually more refreshing. The southern areas of the state are a little bit more bearable, but as a local to Brisbane, you can still crave the air conditioning in your hotel room, shopping centres or cafes. We tend to travel Queensland during the shoulder seasons or throughout winter. This is anywhere between April to October. This works well for crowds as long as it's not on the school holidays and the temperatures and rainfall are a little bit more tolerable than the summer. While swimming is the best way to stay cool in the summertime, this is also the high season for dangerous jellyfish like the box or irukandji. This season runs from November to May with the highest risk from December to March. Everyone in the northern areas like Cairns, Port Douglas and Airlie Beach are given lycra stinger suits whenever booking the Great Barrier Reef tours, and you should only swim in lifeguarded or netted areas. I've been living in the southern areas for most of my life, and while there's much less risk in this part of the state of jellyfish, you do need to consider it. You might be thinking that summertime is the only time you need sunscreen or other preventatives, but I'm here to tell you that while the sun can be scorching in the summer, it's also easy to burn in the winter, and you still need to consider the same measures. So it doesn't matter if you're in the northern areas close to the equator or the southern locations, or even more so in the outback. Please wear sunscreen, hats, rash shirts, and using sunglasses are all excellent ways to shield your skin from harmful effects. Sunscreen should be applied generously and frequently, especially if you're spending extended periods outdoors or in the water. Having a well-stocked first aid kit is indispensable, especially when your itinerary includes hiking, visiting national parks, or exploring wild swimming holes. The unpredictable nature of these environments necessitates readiness for any mishap. These kits are available at any local pharmacy, which is better purchased in the larger cities. They are suitable for minor cuts and blisters to more serious injuries like sprains. This can sometimes include temporary solutions before visiting hospital, which could be hours away. Yes, you can find koalas in the wild, but they aren't the easiest to spot, and I'm often only seeing them after someone has already done the hard work for me. I find it particularly challenging even in the common habitats due to their camouflaged fur and tendency to stay high in the eucalypt trees. If you're looking for common spots, I've personally seen them in the Noosa National Park when hiking to the fairy pools, as well as the Forts Walking Trail on Magnetic Island. We even saw one high in the trees on Stradbroke Island. If all else fails, you could try the zoos like Lone Pine Koala Sanctuary in Brisbane, Currumbin Wildlife Park on the Gold Coast, or Australia Zoo on the Sunshine Coast. These dedicated parks not only provide the opportunity to observe koalas up close, but also contribute to their conservation and protection. When travelling through coastal towns, one of the culinary delights you shouldn't miss is the fresh seafood. While it is true that some seafood options might not be the cheapest, the experience of tasting freshly caught fish, shellfish and other marine delicacies is well worth the investment. Places like Mooloolaba, Harvey Bay, Agnes Waters, Airlie Beach, Cairns, and Port Douglas come to mind. But you really can't go too wrong anywhere, and I'm always taking advantage of the prawns, the scallops, calamari and the lovely barramundi. You could always purchase your own at the local seafood market and cook it yourself to save some coin. After listening to all of these tips, you're well underway to road tripping around Queensland. But to help you plan out everything that you're going to do, please click here for the video on my best Brisbane to Cairns stops or my favourite attractions in Outback Queensland. Thanks so much for watching all the way through. Smash the like button if you found some value, and I'll see you for the next one.